Driving down almost any street in Lansing is a bone-jarring adventure, pothole after pothole, and the city isn't sure where it's going to find the money to fix them. Blame it on the $2 million winter. The city has been forced to do an unprecedented 9 full plows. That's when every street in the city is plowed. Crews have been working around the clock. The city has already blown through its annual quota of salt.
A quick, slow melt of the snow in order to reduce the probability of flooding. Second would be the funding bills that are being talked about across the street to relieve the cities not only from the extraordinary cost that we've expended on removing the snow from our roadways, but now it's taking away some of that funding that we were going to use in the springtime to repair the roads.
Gamble says it's critical that the state help out with some emergency relief. He also says it's important for the state to spend more money on road repairs. Governor Snyder agrees. That's why he's making another push to raise the gas tax to pay for it. You might remember he tried this last year and it failed. The voters didn't like it and the legislature wouldn't touch it. Reporter Brian Johnson tells us how the governor's staff is selling the idea this time around and what it's being called instead of a tax increase.
Ask just about anyone and you'll hear the same story about Michigan roads.
I think they're in desperate need of repair. They're terrible.
Potholes are everywhere. It's hard to even dodge them.
The issue is paying for the fixes. Now the governor's office is pushing to raise the wholesale gas tax rather than at the pump. For one, it's harder for drivers to see the real cost increase.
We need investment everywhere. I mean, you notice it most on your local roads, I think, when it talks about potholes in urban areas. But obviously, that's a problem everywhere.
Governor Snyder has even invited an expert from Pennsylvania to help sell the idea.
The cost of doing nothing is very, very high. It's high in terms of safety. It's high in terms of our pocketbook, and just in our quality of life.
The administration is also using new messaging.
We're calling it an inflation-adjusted taxation. You move it back in the system and you adjust it for inflation.
Not to be confused with a tax increase. It's a noticeable change in strategy that might help some state representatives leery of, quote, raising taxes to vote for collecting more than $1 billion extra dollars. The administration is also pushing the idea that it will save people money. Instead of spending what the governor estimates is $357 repairing your car, you'll only pay $120 more in taxes, a savings of about $200. But messaging aside, after such a rough winter, many just want a solution.
I'm already paying enough at the pump, but whatever it takes, it's got to be fixed. Whether we got to pay a couple more pennies onto the gas, I'm willing to do that.
Our whole infrastructure is crumbling around us in this state, so I think that we need to come up with something that's going to be a long-term solution.
And if the fix comes this winter, we could see improvements this year rather than next. In Lansing, Brian Johnson, Fox 47 News.
The County Road Association is asking for more than $2 billion extra dollars. It says the $1.3 billion the governor is asking for is not enough money to get the job done.